During my shower, I slipped and fell. Tearfully, I called my brother Liam Davis. Yet to my surprise, it was his arch-rival who showed up, Ethan Carter, the famously unattainable heartthrob from a university. Nervously fumbling, I accidentally played Liam's voice message. Holy shit. That bastard Ethan answered my call and muted my phone. Where are you now? Under my shocked gaze, the man holding me tightened his arms and calmly stated, "What a coincidence. Currently in the jerk's embrace." When the door opened, I froze. Why had Ethan Carter come instead of Liam? This same man who'd stolen my brother's top rankings countless times stood before me, immaculate in his crisply ironed white shirt buttoned to the collar, making my damp-haired, bathrobe-clad self feel utterly disheveled. For the first time, I realized how acutely self-conscious one becomes around attractive people. Your brother was occupied, so he asked me to assist, Ethan explained with polished courtesy. He secured his overcoat around my waist and extended his arms. May I carry you princess style? When I hesitated, he added softly, with your injured ankle, this would be safer than walking. Unless. His trailing words made my ears burn. Unless you thought I meant something else? And no. Of course not. Pity. I wouldn't have minded otherwise. His warm breath tickled my neck as he lifted me effortlessly. Flustered, I tried storing my phone but triggered another message. Damn it. That sneaky Ethan muted me. Ivy. Where are you? My eyes widened. Ethan had answered my initial call? Before I could process this, he casually admitted, "You heard right. The jerk's got you now." Liam's enraged voice exploded from the phone. Ethan, you stay away from my sister. Keep shouting and delay her medical care. Ethan countered smoothly, silencing my sputtering brother. We're heading to the hospital. The emergency room bustled around us as Ethan remained my inexplicably attentive companion, his earlier flirtations lingering in the charged air between us. Ethan met my hesitant gaze and replied calmly, "What do you want to ask? Why did you silence my brother's phone?" The ringtone would interfere with our ongoing experiment. I nodded, inexplicably relieved. Clearly I'd overthought things. Oh. Then why did you answer my brother's call? Because the caller ID showed your name. My newly calmed heart started pounding again. You'd called multiple times. Your brother couldn't retrieve his phone or leave his post immediately. I worried something urgent happened, so I made the impolite decision to answer. Let's call it acting rashly out of concern. Ethan's lips quirked upward as if seeing through my probing. My cheeks burned as I lowered my head to scroll through short videos, avoiding his direct gaze. The moment I unlocked my phone, Ethan's abs photo filled the screen. Caption, top pick on a university's must-try list. The slightly blurred image looked like a courtside sneak shot. Fumbling, I tried swiping away but accidentally double-tapped to bookmark it. Ethan's muffled laughter sounded beside me. I just regularly browse hot guys content. I stammered, face flaming. The algorithm auto-recommends these. Not like I specifically searched for you. He handed me the ointment. Eyebrow raised. Then maybe just look at me from now on? The boldness overloaded my brain. Senior. I have a boyfriend. Since turning 18, I'd dreamed nightly of a man. Our passionate encounters felt startlingly real. I could feel his body heat, trace the ridges of his abs, melt into his broad shoulders that engulfed me completely. Each night he'd whisper wait for me as we peeked together. Gradually, I'd become addicted to these visions. Yet no matter how hard I tried, his face remained blurred. At first I thought it stemmed from inexperience, my subconscious compensating for unmet desires. But when therapy and medication failed to stop the dreams, I became convinced he existed in reality. I remained single, quietly awaiting his arrival. Until last week, when I met Liam, arriving 15 minutes early for the lecture. I found only one seat left in the packed hall. Liam sat beside me with a book over his face, seemingly asleep. I paid no attention until his sleep-mumbled words froze me. Wait for me. Electricity shot through my veins. After class. I stopped him, trembling. Do you regularly dream about the same person? He studied me intently before smiling. Ivy. I've finally found you. We'd never met. Yet he knew my name perfectly. The ultimate proof. We cross-checked numerous details. And finally I confirmed he was the man from my dreams. Naturally, we established a romantic relationship, deciding to extend this connection into reality. However, Ethan showed no surprise upon learning I wasn't single. His expression remained placid as he calmly continued tucking the blanket around me, then chuckled softly. So what? Ivy. I like you. This isn't something I can control. Even knowing you have a boyfriend, I can't restrain myself. My pupils trembled as I froze completely. My heart hammered violently against my ribs. All ambient noise suddenly vacuumed away until I clearly heard my own frantic pulse. Ethan's bare-faced confession left me flustered. But more unsettling was my own physical reaction, my heartbeat spiraling wildly out of control because of his words. Blushing furiously, I burrowed under the covers, equal parts mortified and confused. Ethan. It's late. I'm tired. You should go rest too. Thank you for today. My voice emerged muffled. But I'd never cheat. Please don't say such misleading things again. Ethan paused contemplatively, his tone still composed. My statement was unambiguous. I like you. He paused again before adding with a faint smile. What part of that could possibly be misunderstood? I found myself speechless, palms growing clammy. Ethan knew I was feigning deafness but didn't wait for a response before rising. He closed the door gently, leaving behind an impossibly tender goodnight whose upward inflection brushed like a feather against my heart. His deep, magnetic voice rippled through the sterile hospital room. For a fleeting moment, Ethan's voice overlapped perfectly with the dream figures in my memory, though I'd heard my brother complain about him countless times. This was our first actual meeting. Why did he act so invested in me? Exhaustion eventually dragged me into fitful sleep. Growing warmth enveloped me like thermal springs as the familiar dream sequence began. The man naturally pulled me against his chest, pressing lingering, intricate kisses to my forehead that carried inexplicable melancholy. Instinctively nuzzling into his collarbone, my sick bed vulnerability magnified as I whined. You're late today. Usually he appeared the moment I drifted off. He tilted my chin up, capturing my lips in breathless kisses. Only then did I notice his glistening skin, as if he'd just finished running. Got delayed coming home. My apologies. I straddled his lap, arms looping around his neck. Then I'll have to punish you. The man groaned softly, as if suppressing pain. What's wrong? I asked, surprised. Nothing. I wanted to press further. His hand steadied my waist while the other gripped my thigh. Baby, don't move around. The doctor said you shouldn't make any sudden movements these days. The doctor? I echoed vaguely. Liam had left for an out-of-town competition 2 days ago. Since he couldn't possibly return to accompany me, and not wanting to distract him, I hadn't mentioned my illness. Yet how did this dream version of him know medical instructions so precisely? Sensing my distraction, the man sank his teeth into my collarbone. What are you thinking about? The words tumbled out, about my boyfriend. The reaction was instantaneous. With sudden ferocity, he flipped our positions, his strong fingers tangling in my hair as he crushed my mouth in a searing kiss that felt equal parts passion and punishment. The intensity stole my breath, carrying an undercurrent of dangerous warning. Are you upset? I managed between gasps, vision blurring. Those dark eyes deepened but offered no answer. In the haze, I heard his gritted vow. Little liar. You promised to wait for me. Daring to think of others while with me. Seems my naughty girl needs proper discipline. Morning light found me aching. Staring at the white ceiling. Fragmented memories slowly reassembled. Ethan's aloof features suddenly flashed through my mind. I bolted upright. Heart racing. For the first time, I could recall the dream man's face. The shock made me verify repeatedly. Last night's phantom lover had been Ethan. I pressed cold hands to my flushed cheeks. How? For years. My dreams had always featured Liam. The floodgates opened, every vivid detail from last night's encounter resurfaced. Covering my burning face, I struggled to process. The composed, cerebral Ethan acting so unrestrained? Impossible. Must be residual thoughts from yesterday's confession replaying. After all, I'd already reunited with Liam. This had to be a fluke. Ivy. I groaned into the empty room. Pathetic. Just because Ethan's gorgeous doesn't mean you should fantasize like this. Imagining his face over your actual boyfriend's? This is insane. Collapsing backward into the sheets, I muffled a scream. Am I some kind of pervert? These dreams keep getting more outrageous. What are you mumbling about? Liam Davis pushed open the door carrying 2 lunch boxes. I guiltily shook my head. Nothing. Just my foot hurts. He dragged a chair over and lifted the blanket to check my injury. Not too bad. The doctor said you might walk in 3 days if recovery goes well. MMHM. I reached for the containers. Not yours. He slapped my left hand, reclaiming the blue one. Not for me? This is for Ethan Carter. He's in the next room now. But he was fine last night. What happened? Ethan got hit by a drunk driver after dropping you at the hospital. Just superficial wounds. But the idiot refused treatment last night, kept babbling about needing to sleep. Ran home bleeding from his leg when he couldn't get a taxi. Only came for checkups this morning. Normally I'd laugh at his misfortune. But since this happened while helping you. He shrugged. Now we owe that jerk a huge favor. My spoon clattered as tofu soup spilled across the table. Careful! Did you burn yourself? Liam frantically wiped the mess with napkins. I dismissed the sudden suspicion gnawing at me. Just coincidence. Eat up. You should thank Ethan personally after recovering. Can't stand him. But he did help. He adjusted the pillows behind me before leaving. Wait! Where's Ethan's leg injury exactly? Upper thigh. Road rash from falling. My eyes snapped shut. Recalling last night's dream. The man usually coaxed me to touch his abs before cuddling. But this time, he'd kept his pajamas fully buttoned. Ethan never appeared during my remaining hospital days. Rumor said his untreated wound got infected. Strangely, the dream stopped too first time in 3 years. When Liam came to take me back to campus, anxiety bubbled up. Are you still appearing in my dreams? Of course. He ruffled my hair, hoisting my luggage. But I haven't dreamed for days. I ducked from his touch, freezing awkwardly. Not that I mind. Just adjusting. Liam's smile stiffened. No rush. We're practically strangers in real life anyway. About the dreams, maybe the distance affected them? He squeezed my shoulder. My fault for leaving right after we started dating. During that period before, none of us had left City A. I nodded. But the strange feeling in my heart lingered. Since my leg injury hadn't fully healed. I stood by the classroom door waiting for Liam to pick me up for dinner while handling group messages. From the corner of my eye, I noticed black shoes stopping beside me. Assuming it was Liam, I said without looking up. Could you hold my crutch? Typing one-handed is slowing me down. A pair of distinctly masculine hands appeared in my view. When I looked up, our eyes locked. I froze. Ethan? Why are you? Ethan steadied me with his free hand. Eyebrow quirking. Here to steal you away, he drawled, his heavy gaze never leaving me. The words hovered between jest and unsettling sincerity. My breath caught, cheeks flushing. I noticed his unusually pale lips and drawn features. But you're supposed to be hospitalized. My brother said you took medical leave this week. Ethan shrugged acknowledgement. Plan to rest longer, the wound keeps me awake nights. His voice softened. Couldn't stay away from you any longer. Discharged myself early. His blunt confession made my pulse stutter. Ethan? Liam's voice cut through the tension as he approached from the stairwell. The two men exchanged stiff nods. Psychology department's classrooms are across campus, Liam remarked coolly. Panicking Ethan might say something outrageous. I blurted. We were just catching up. I still need to properly thank him for helping me that day. My words tumbled out like fleeing rabbits. Amused. Ethan nodded at my frantic glance. Liam's smile tightened as he noticed Ethan's hand on my arm. Appreciate you looking after my girlfriend. But I'll take it from here. I jerked my arm back, avoiding Ethan's reaction. Liam, let's get dinner. I'm starving. Mind if I join? Ethan's gaze pinned me. I walk slowly. Perfect, my leg injury prefers leisurely pace too. Trapped between them at the cafeteria, Liam piled vegetables onto my plate with fresh chopsticks while Ethan silently ladled bone broth across the table. The clink of cutlery echoed louder than any conversation. Ethan calmly ladled a bowl of soup and passed it to me. The two of them seemed locked in some unspoken competition, taking turns piling food onto my plate. I stared silently at the growing mountain of dishes before me. You can start with this if it's too much. Liam pushed forward the plate he'd served me. Okay. Before Ethan could react, I quickly agreed and began devouring the food, hoping to end this absurd spectacle. Just as I thought the madness might finally subside, I felt Ethan's dress shoe hook around my ankle under the table. The cool leather traced slow circles up my calf, the rigid toe cap sending shivers across my skin. My chopsticks trembled in my grip. Biting my lip, I shot him a silent questioning look. To my astonishment, Ethan began unbuttoning his shirt with complete indifference, 3 precise snaps revealing the defined contours of his chest muscles and the tantalizing edge of his abdominal lines. Stifling in here. Do they ever turn on the AC? He smirked, maintaining relentless pressure against my leg. Heat flooded my cheeks as I mumbled an excuse and fled to my dorm. Lying in bed, I squeezed my eyes shut only to see Ethan's sculpted torso imprinted behind my eyelids. This had to stop. I started avoiding him entirely. My rational mind insisted this distance was proper. I had a boyfriend, after all. Yet the hollowness in my chest contradicted every logical thought. Worse still, the mysterious man from my dreams began fading like morning mist. That brief moment of clarity now seemed like a cruel illusion. Meanwhile, the nocturnal encounters grew increasingly intense, the shadowy figure claiming me with relentless hunger night after night, leaving me sore and exhausted. Yet in waking life, Liam and I maintained chaste boundaries, our relationship progressing at glacial speed according to his time dilation theory about shared dreams. Too embarrassed to address the carnal disconnect, I suffered through sleep-deprived days until finally dozing off during lecture. The dream came instantly. Sweet dreams, baby. The man's thumb brushed my cheekbone, his smile tender yet predatory. What? Even for naps? Panic jolted me half awake. You can't possibly. He pulled me against his chest, foreheads touching. Just one kiss. The velvet rumble of his voice melted my resistance. One. I relented weakly. I have class. His lips captured mine with practiced precision, the kiss deepening until my textbooks slipped forgotten to the floor. As soon as the words left my lips, they were sealed. I felt like a stretch of shoreline gradually saturated by the rising tide. Just as I was drowning in the sensation, the class bell rang. Startled, I bit down hard on the man's lip, then jolted awake. Ivy. Are you feeling unwell? Your face is so flushed. Liam turned to study me. And no. I stammered, hastily opening the window to let cool air slap my cheeks. My peripheral vision caught Ethan wiping his mouth with his knuckles in the seat diagonally behind me. Meeting my gaze, he snapped his textbook shut and leaned forward with that infuriating half-smile. Little sister, got a tissue? Seems I've got a split lip. He served as teaching assistant for this lecture. While he demonstrated psychological models at the podium, my attention kept snagging on that wounded mouth. The professor's sudden question caught me unprepared. I don't know the answer. I admitted, cheeks burning. This theory is foundational. See me after class. The professor said. The office was empty except for Ethan when I knocked. Where's the professor? Emergency meeting. He asked me to reteach you. Thank you, senior. I settled at the farthest corner of the desk. He dragged his chair until our knees nearly touched. Avoiding me? No. Then why run whenever I appear? His fingers drummed the desk edge. My throat tightened. We should keep distance. I have a boyfriend. And I don't feel that way about you. Don't? Ethan's laugh held bitter edges. He tilted his chin, thumb brushing the swollen cut. Then how do you explain this? The air left my lungs. According to his explanation, he'd been the man sharing my dreams all along. I started seeing you in dreams as a child, observing your life like some documentary. Doctors found no cause. You kept appearing, night after night. Gradually, I fell for you. Felt my heart crack when you cried over failed exams. Blushed watching you try dresses. Began leaving birthday gifts in our dream world. By senior year, I could finally touch you. Speak to you. Then, I frantically gestured for him to stop. When I saw Ivy Johnson on your brother's phone in the lab that day, I nearly lost my mind. Didn't even consider mistaken identity before showing up at your door. The shared dream seemed too insane to mention. I feared you'd think me delusional. Then you started dating Liam, and I assumed your waking self rejected our dream connection. Until I discovered you chose him because of a magical dream, my stolen identity. His voice fractured on the final words. Gaze anchoring me in place like storm chains. My thoughts tangled into an impossible knot of yarn. I absent-mindedly picked at the curled edges of my textbook pages. My breathing uneven. Liam did tell me he's the male lead in my dreams. He knew so many details that I believed him and agreed to continue our relationship in real life. But I've never clearly seen the man's face in my dreams. Even when I ask for names, I forget everything upon waking. It's like the dreams actively prevent me from finding his identity. My voice cracked as tears welled up. That's why I can't determine which of you is telling the truth, you or Ethan. Ethan's pained expression flashed through my mind. If I'd mistaken his identity all along, how much agony had he endured these past weeks? Our shared dreaming experiences seemed to differ. Don't worry, Ethan said firmly. We'll figure this out together. I nodded, though privately I already leaned toward believing him. Not only did Ethan recall more comprehensive details, but my body physically responded to him. I didn't recoil from his touch, quite the opposite. Yet after over a month of dating Liam, I still stiffened when he held my hand. The mystery consumed me as I mechanically climbed the stairs to the campus activity building. Why would Liam lie? How did he know about my shared dreams? My distraction proved costly. Before I realized what was happening, 3 girls shoved me into a bathroom stall and snapped the lock. Stay in there, slut. First you seduce Liam, now you're after Ethan? 2-timing bitch. If we catch you near Ethan again. Their threats cut off as icy water cascaded over me. I choked as liquid invaded my windpipe, collapsing into violent coughs. The girls' laughter faded with their footsteps. Help! My raw throat could barely rasp. They'd thrown my phone outside the window. Dusk painted the storage floor in shadows. This remote top level sat empty except for event equipment. The student council president had specifically asked me to retrieve decorations for tonight's gala. Shivers racked my soaked body. My forehead burned against trembling fingers. Darkness swallowed me as I slumped against the door. Fevered dreams transported me back to that familiar haze. Through the mist, I saw him, the man from my dreams, frantically searching. "Where are you?" Ethan's voice shook as he materialized. Arms closing around me. His face finally came into focus. "Ethan." I sobbed into his chest. "Tell me your location, sweetheart. I'm coming." His embrace tightened. "Hold on. I'll find you. Tell me. Where is it?" I sobbed, curling into his embrace. "On the top floor of Building 6. After what felt like an eternity, the sound of splintering wood echoed nearby. Ethan lifted me in his arms, his voice trembling. "Ivy, stay awake. I'm here. We're going to the hospital now." I struggled to open my eyes and saw his reddened eyelids. On our way downstairs, we encountered Liam rushing up. He blocked Ethan's path and shouted hoarsely, "She's my girlfriend." My fingers tightened around Ethan's collar, and my throat constricted. "Is this really the time? She needs medical attention." Ethan shielded me protectively, his voice laced with venom. "I'll take her. Let go." Losing patience, Ethan kicked Liam squarely in the chest, his tone as glacial as death incarnate. "Move. Phony." The hospital fluorescence stung my eyes. Ethan's pale profile came into focus. His hand was clutching mine as he slumped against the bedside. When I twitched my fingers, he jerked awake instantly. "Any discomfort?" His gentle tone held unwavering focus. "No." "Good. The fever broke. The doctor says you're through the worst." "Those girls. I reported it last night. Unfortunately, the security footage was corrupted. Your brother's tracking them down personally." "It's handled." Silence descended heavily. 1,000 words clogged my throat. The awkward stillness was shattered when our nurse entered. "Temperature normalized?" "Yes." "Excellent. Your boyfriend nearly wore out our linen supply, changing your cold compressed towel every 10 minutes. "He's not." Ethan's lips quirked lazily. "Still working on that part." The nurse chuckled. "Could have fooled me." Heat flooded my cheeks. "Ivy." Liam stood ghost pale in the doorway. I met his gaze directly. "How did you know about my shared dreams?" "Why lie?" His fists unclenched limply. "I wanted you. Stole your files from the clinic where we both received treatment." "Ivy. I loved you too much. Can you ever forgive this?" I stared at him, enunciating each word clearly. "What you feel for me isn't love, it's possessiveness. I refuse to build a relationship on lies. I can't tolerate deception." "Liam. I don't want to see you again." That evening, Ethan walked me home, dangling a pharmacy bag. He strolled backward while studying my face. "Baby, doesn't this finally prove the man in your dreams was me? When will you make our relationship official?" I'm practically training myself to be the other man here. Ethan's tall frame looked even more imposing in his black windbreaker. The soft strands of hair falling across his forehead softened his sharp features, his current pout making him resemble an obedient golden retriever. My heart melted like chocolate in warm milk. Rising on tiptoes, I kissed him first. There's one last step. After last time's misunderstanding, I'm being extra thorough this time. "What do you mean?" "I need to inspect the goods." Ethan tilted his head, eyes crinkling with mischief. "Then I'd better perform well. Stop talking nonsense." I pretended to scowl, reaching to cover his mouth. He pulled me into his arms instead, claiming my lips hungrily. Back home, I solemnly unbuttoned Ethan's shirt. The man in my dreams had a crimson lotus-shaped birthmark on his chest, one I'd kissed countless times. Ethan had the exact same mark. Tracing the familiar shape, my lingering doubts finally dissolved. Baby, may I kiss you now? Ethan's voice turned gravelly with desire. Who could imagine the seemingly aloof ice prince would become so unguarded around Ivy? Feeling his burning intensity, my heartbeat accelerated. Of course, boyfriend. His hand cradled my nape as he kissed me with aching tenderness. When our breaths grew ragged, Ethan's Adam's apple bobbed. Baby, should we inspect other areas? Burying my flushed face in his shoulder, I whispered, maybe we should. Just as Ethan removed his shirt, my brother knocked. Ivy, you in there? Huh? Why's the light on? Did she go out? Damn it. Where did that jerk Ethan take my sister now? Inside the closet. I froze. Ethan nibbled my earlobe, murmuring, relax. Baby. The cramped space grew stifling hot. I bit my lip, pinching his arm. Don't, we can't. Ethan gripped my waist, pressing me against the wooden panels. The tension made every touch electric. He'll hear us. I whimpered. He chuckled darkly. Relentless. Baby. I was planning to sneak around with you like this when I was the other woman. The end. Before the wedding, Ivy came across a temple online known for its miraculous matchmaking and dragged Ethan to find it. They hiked up the mountain in the afternoon but still hadn't located it by nightfall. Ethan wondered if they'd taken the wrong path. But Ivy insisted she remembered correctly. She pulled out her phone to prove it, only to find the post had vanished. Then, a sudden downpour trapped them on the mountain. Luckily, a newly opened campground saved them. Ethan quickly bought a tent, and they spent an uneasy night together. Ivy slept fitfully, waking at dawn. She stepped outside to check the weather. The morning sky blazed with a breathtaking pink ink wash painting of clouds. Mesmerized, she wandered forward until a fog-shrouded ancient temple materialized, its red lacquer peeling. Sandalwood incense lingering. This was the one. A kindly old monk. Prayer beads coiled around his wrist. Clasped his hands and bowed. What brings you here, patron? A lifetime of fulfillment. The monk rotated his beads, smiling. Return home. Your wish was granted a millennium ago. As Ivy crossed the threshold, a silver-armored general with jet black hair tied high galloped past her vision, a hallucination. Yet her heart nearly burst. She whirled around instinctively and found Ethan standing with arms open, gazing at her with adoration. Tears spilled as she heard him say, Princess, your servant is here. Extra end.